Hey friends, I've had quite a day. A number of cool things happened, starting with my daughter is going to play with the Youth Symphony Orchestra here in Albuquerque tomorrow. She's in a group class, and they're going to do a number. They're doing a song with the whole orchestra. Very exciting. She's super psyched to be on the big stage in Albuquerque. So that was kind of our morning, and it was super fun to be part of that and to kind of watch that unfold. Getting ready for tomorrow. We had a dress rehearsal today, so very exciting. But another thing that happened today was I had received an email from somebody who I met when I was at the hospital in Canada. We had gotten to chatting. It's kind of like cohorts that go through this place, because you come in, you're scheduled on a certain day, a bunch of other people are scheduled on that day, then there's like the cohort of the next day. But for some reason, I think the kind of intensity of I think the fact that you're going into surgery, and the fact that there's that moment, and then there's the recovery, the time feels, it's almost like I feel like I spent a month there or something. It's like time stretched out while I was there. Even though I found days going kind of quickly, I was kind of surprised, because it was like my activities were, aside from surgery day. On surgery day, it was like get up early, get shaved, go downstairs, you're in the waiting room, you're in the pre-op room, then you're in the op room, then you're in bed, then you're coming to from the sedative, right? Day one was kind of a blur. But after that, it's like, wake up in the morning, and my job today is to rest and eat, and there's going to be a 13-minute exercise video somewhere in there. And that's it. So, of course, as you know, if you are following my posts, you know that I read an entire book on how to help your daughter, how to help your child practice music, which I need to go and read it again. Man, I'm telling you, I need to get my head back to the beginning of that and start going through it methodically, because, man, nothing like your own kids to bring you just the right kind of challenge. Because I experienced some of that today too. And I'm not gonna talk too much about that today. There's a whole other series of insights and kind of thoughts launching about young people practicing music that I will go into on another post, on another day. Stay tuned. But anyway, the time that I spent in this hospital at Sholdis, I had hernia surgery. If you're just tuning in, that's where I was last week. The time that I spent there was like, it sort of was like a rite of passage, right? It's all these men, mostly men, a small handful of women who also were in the mix, but mostly men, because hernias mostly affect men. And it was like this, you had this progression, and it was very traceable. It was kind of, you could tell who was like on day one, who was on day two, who was on day three, ready to go. It was kind of like, it was noticeable. We're all in this system's pipeline. So some of the conversations that I had as a result of that were like, kind of like, not intense in a bad way, just like we got deep on shit quickly. And And one of the there's a couple of relationships that I'll probably maintain coming out of that, but there's one relationship in particular that I've been following up with, and I've been emailing the guy. I had told him about an idea for an animated short that I started tinkering with a couple of years ago and kind of ran out of gas with at some point. It never really, we basically, because it's animated, I'd never really, I felt like I have all the knowledge and everything I need. I know exactly what I can bring, and I am not an animator, and I have no idea how to even start with that. And I just need an artist, a visual artist, somebody who knows that world to work with. Well, lo and behold, at Sholdus, I bump into a guy who's like a world-class animator. I mean, his website was like, holy shit, good. Disney, name a big animated company, he's got it in his credits. And I was like, we sort of like, I didn't know this about him until I already got home, but we sort of like had just started riffing, and because we were again in this like weird environment, we kind of like were able to go deep quickly and just start kind of getting into creative ideas in a really cool way. And the upshot of it is that seems to be turning into a project that we may be collaborating on. So I may have kind of like found the person I was looking to meet to render the entire other. I mean, you know, what's an animated film without the visual? Like, it's not a thing. That's fundamental. So while I feel like I have a lot of creative vision and a lot of inspiration that manifests as ideas that would make good animated films, or at least the expression that I imagine most easily is through animation, I have no skill set to make that happen other than through, you know, really effective collaboration. And so feeling like that might be starting is super exciting. Like, whoa. And I think out of that has come just a sense of kind of a momentum, just a sense of like a creative burst of fuel. And funny enough, the film is about a father and a daughter. The father's helping the daughter learn music, and it's why it does and does not work. Anyway, just to kind of put that synchronicity out there. So, yeah. It's like, it feels like things are moving. I almost I talked yesterday about a sense that I have clarity in a certain way in my life, and I talked about like how I've got plenty of challenges, but I do have clarity in a certain way. And what I was starting to say just a moment ago when I stopped myself, and hopefully you weren't concerned that I was having a stroke. What I was starting to say was, I almost don't want to visualize or imagine or like get my hopes up basically for where this project could go. But then when I stopped myself, I realized maybe that's wrong. Maybe because I can imagine where this can go. I can absolutely imagine producing a world-class animated film, sending it around to festivals, winning an award, winning multiple awards, and getting to do it again. Getting to make another movie. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I also have a tendency to have a vision, have that clarity, and then sort of pull back off of it and go, oh, I don't want to invest too much, or I don't want to really, it's almost like I don't want to lock it down because I'm afraid I might either smother it or derail it or not have it be what I imagined, or there's always this weird way in which I think my intention will affect it. But the fact is, a muddy intention that doesn't really know where it wants to go is the kind of intention that scuppers a piece, that scuppers a project. A clear intention that sees where something is going, use it. Yes, don't pull back from that. Don't act like you don't really know. I mean, that's kind of a nice, very specific and really inspiring creative vision, but like, you want to be open to other ideas. Like, you don't want to just you don't want to pigeonhole yourself with the brilliant, searing clarity of an inspired vision. Like, well, then where would you be? What? What are we talking about? What? That's a tendency. That's why you saw me kind of go, I almost don't want to. And then I just stopped and didn't say anything because I had to see that thought and go, it's a familiar thought. I don't think that's the thought that is going to help me here. In fact, it's so habitual to think this thought that maybe this thought has been responsible for a number of other sort of dilutions or dissolutions of things that actually had trajectory, but this sense of needing to be open prevented my following through with that real intention. So now I'm explaining at the end of my post what happened in the middle of the post. That's not usually what I'm supposed to do, but I'm doing it anyway. That's what you get today. I don't know where this comes from. It's just like I'm riding this horse in the direction that he's going. Anyway, what has showed up for me is that, sort of as I had hoped, this experience of going to the hospital and going into surgery and coming out of surgery and home, I knew this was going to be a threshold. I knew this was going to be a kind of like a turning point in some ways. And oh man, has that ever turned out to be true. Oh man, does that ever seem to be, at least there's an initial burst here of possibility that I haven't felt for a long time. And that's exciting. It's very, very gratifying and really pretty. It's exciting. It's exciting. I get to be excited about something. And I was reflecting a bit about how my own clarity is part of that. Being uncompromising on certain things. So yeah, that's where I am today. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate you. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.